day everyone, we are from Group 4 of the module Introduction to Restaurant Operation, and for today we are going to share a bit of knowledge about the responsible alcohol service. Now, in order to understand the responsible alcohol service, it is fairly important to know and to comprehend the definition of the alcohol itself. Now, it can be defined as a molecule of organic matter having a simple structure consisting of oxygen atom with two lone pairs bonded with a hydrogen atom, functionally component, which you can see on the picture below as a reference. And then, generally speaking, there are two basic categories of alcohol. The first one we would like to call it as a methyl alcohol or the methanol, which is very dangerous and is not comfortable for human. And it is tend to be utilized in the industry for things such as resin residue, the adhesive, the markers, and also the other related products such as pigment. Now, on the other hand, we have the other molecule called the ethanol or the ethyl alcohol, which is an organic compound that is typically present in alcoholic-based drinks. Now, moving on, we are going to talk about the definition of the alcoholic beverages itself. The alcoholic beverages could be translated into every aged alcoholic beverage, which contain a substance called the ethanol that act as a stimulating ingredient. Now, we can consider wine, beer, or distilled spirit as alcoholic beverages. Now that we have finally understand the meaning of the alcoholic beverages, we can take a look into different types of alcoholic beverages itself. Now, starting with the one that is most hardly to distinguish, which is the spirit and liqueur. Now, in one case, the alcohol content used to make malt whiskey may reach up to 75%, whereas the spirit used to make grain whiskey may reach up to 95%. The spirit cannot develop into liqueur until it has been distilled, aged, bottled, and placed into the consumer's glass. Now, while wine contains alcohol, it contains a smaller amount of alcohol there in spirits or liqueur. In addition to wine, the amount of sugar in the grapevine affects of how much alcohol is present within the carry-out bottle. Now, and lastly, we are going to talk about two most commonly consumed alcoholic drinks, which is the beer and cider. While cider extraction goes through several stages just before it undergoes the cultural fermentating phase, beer has a reputation for having the lowest concentration of alcohol percentage. Now, of course, most importantly, we are going to talk about the ABV, or it is known as the indicator of the amount of alcohol inside of the drinks that is alcoholic. And despite that ABV has different norms that is according to the region of the nation, the National Institute of Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism legislation has become the one that is most frequently used. Now, you can see the picture referred below, taken from the tequilasip.com.
So I'll be explaining for responsibility service of alcohol. Let's move on to the first one, which is the digestive way of alcohol in the human body. Alcohol is not digested by the body in the same way as how foods are. Entering the digestive system, alcohol passes through the wall of the stomach of small intestine directly into the bloodstream. What is the alcohol impact of human life? There are 4 effects. So the first one is the physical effects. If you drink too much alcohol, the chance of suffering from liver cirrhosis become higher. Cirrhosis is the fibrosis of the liver caused by long-term liver damage. In addition, you might face road accidents as alcohol can reduce the function of your brain, impairing thinking, reasoning, and muscle coordination. Next is the mental effects. Many people drink alcohol to help them to cope up with their stress. However, if they need to drink every time they have a problem, it can be a sign of alcohol dependency disorder and depression. Next is the social effects. As everyone knows, domestic abuse or violence is also considered as social problems due to alcohol consumption. If one is not sober enough, they might be more abusive than usual because alcohol reduces the ability to think rationally. There is also financial related problem and also conflict with family or friends. Lastly is economic effects, which include poverty and loss wages. As a pregnancy, spending on alcohol can lead people into lifelong debt, which can cause someone to face poverty. Next part is the liability and responsibility of bar personnel. The bar server's liability mainly includes criminal and also civil liability. For criminal serving alcohol to a minor, different states have different restrictions. Some require to be at least 21 years old, some at 18, some like others, the minors, to buy drinks with the supervision of their guardians or parents. For serving a guest who is or appears to be intoxicated, it is illegal to serve a guest who is or appears to be intoxicated. Licensees or permitters will be penalized with on-the-spot fine. Third is the possessing, selling, or allowing the sale of drugs on the premises. So the person who sells them will be considered to have committed an offense and can be fined up to a maximum of 25,000 ringgit or a jail sentence not exceeding 3 years. For civil liability, carrying the presence from injury on the premises. So if the property owner fails to do so, is ground for an injured guest to recover damage through a premises liability claim. Second, seller or servers of alcohol for the damage caused for the guest. Criminal and civil action can be taken against those distributing alcohol for damage done by their patrons to third parties.
Next, the third subtopic is regarding the alcohol service law restriction. The first one is the legal age to purchase the alcoholic beverage, which is usually ranged between 18 to 21 years old as the minimum requirement of age, as this is the age that one country considered as a legal adult age. Here are some few examples of countries that allow people above 18 years old to purchase the alcoholic beverage, which is mainly dominated by the European countries such as UK, French, Italy, Spain, etc., and also few Asian countries such as Cambodia, Bangladesh, Philippines, etc. And for 19 years old, we have the South Korea, whereby in the Korean culture, or as we know as the Korean age, they are considered 1 year old when they are born, so basically their legal age will be 19 years old. And for 20 years old, we have the Thailand, Japan, Iceland, etc. And the 21 years old minimum requirement age, we have the Malaysia, Indonesia, Qatar, etc. Next, some countries also allow people below the legal age to purchase as well as consume the alcoholic beverage in a responsible manner. And they allow adult or legal guardian to purchase the alcoholic beverage and then serve it to the minor children. For example, is in Germany, as well as the French and Italy. And something to take in mind that the legal purchasing age might not always be the same as the legal consumption age, and most countries has only established the rule for the minimum age to purchase the alcoholic beverage. Next is the legal age to serve, whereby this refers to the staff that work in alcohol service premises such as the bar, personnel, etc. It's also similar to the legal age to purchase, whereby it ranges between 18 to 21 years old as the minimum requirement age. So these are few countries example that allow people above the 18 years old to work in a bar premises such as Malaysia, Canada, UK, etc. And countries that allow people above the 21 years old to be able to work in a bar premises is such as the Indonesia, United Arab Emirates, Sri Lanka, etc. Some countries do allow the underage people to work in a bar premises or alcohol service premises, but they only may take the order and also handle the payment process without serving the alcohol to the guests. So, for example, is that Germany, Belgium, Austria, and do take in mind that most of the certified bar establishments do require the staff to have or obtain a more professional requirement, such as attending a related training or owning a specific certification to be able to work in that premises. Next is the legal age to enter the bar, where it's also basically the same by looking on the minimum requirement of the legal age in countries. So, and these are some physical signs that being put in the bar or other alcohol service premises to alert the guests about the minimum requirement age to be able to enter that premises. Next is regarding the law restriction of serving an intoxicated guest, where it is considered inappropriate and illegal to serve an intoxicated guest or people who show the intoxication symptoms. So all certified bar personnel should be able to have the ability to recognize the current symptoms of intoxication. And then we move to the law restriction of the service hour of the alcohol service premises, whereby in Malaysia itself, people may only purchase the alcohol drinks from the place like convenience store or grocer from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. And for the licensed premises like a bar, tavern, nightclub, etc., they may operate their business from 10 a.m. to 2 a.m., whereby there are also some of the establishments that do request for an extension of their operation hour to the local authority.
Moving on to the alcohol responsible service. So first we'll be talking about the signs of intoxication, which included slurred or inaccurate speech, loss of coordination, confusion, and inability to comprehend, hear, or react. So what is blood alcohol content? BAC refers to the quantity of alcohol that has entered a person's bloodstream. With a 0.10 blood alcohol content, there's around 1 drop of alcohol for every 1,000 blood droplets. At BAC levels between 0.01 and 0.029%, a person may experience some mild effects of alcohol such as mild relaxation, slight loss of inhibitions, but the average individual appears normal. At BAC levels between 0.03 and 0.059%, a person may experience some moderate effects of alcohol such as relaxation, joyousness, and talkativeness. At BAC level equal to or greater than 0.40% is a medical emergency and can be life-threatening. At this BAC level, a person may experience general lack of behaviors, unconsciousness, and death. So different alcoholic beverage has different ABV, followed by the serving size per standard drink. And it is recommended to follow the guideline with 2 standard drinks the first hour and a maximum of 1 each hour thereafter for male, and for female 1 standard drink the first hour and a maximum of 1 each hour thereafter.
Moving on to the next part, I would like to talk about the factors that affect a guest's blood alcohol content. As we all know, alcohol consumption is a common activity during social events, but it is not all the guests are affected by alcohol in the same ways. The first factor that affects a guest's blood alcohol content is the type of alcohol they consume. Different types of alcoholic drinks have varying alcohol content, and it is essential to know the alcohol percentage of each drink to estimate how much alcohol they are consuming. In the term of metabolism rates, the rate at which someone metabolizes alcohol can depend on various factors, including genetics, age, gender, and also overall health. Last but not least, guest tolerant level of alcohol is also affect their blood alcohol contents. In addition to the factors mentioned above, there are still many factors that can affect the blood alcohol contents of guests. Now let's talk about strategy to prevent intoxication during the events. So this is to make sure that they don't consume too much alcohol that can lead to unsafe situations. Train the staff to recognize and approach signs of intoxications, offering non-alcoholic drinks, having professional bartenders, and also provide foods are the ways to prevent the intoxications. Despite our best effort, guests may still become intoxicated. Thus, I would like to talk about how to handle intoxicated guests during the event. When a guest is showing physical or behavioral signs of intoxications, the first step is to stop serving alcohol. To do this effectively, there are a few things you need to keep in mind. Firstly, alert backups. To let another staff member know that you are stopping service to a guest and ensures that someone else is aware of the situations and can assist if needed. Secondly, enlist the help of other guests if possible to make sure that the intoxicated guest is not left alone. Also, you can wait until the guest orders the next round before stopping the service. This can prevent confrontations and ensure that the guest does not feel singled out. Handling intoxicated guests during the events is an important part of ensuring everyone's safety and enjoyment. So what is incident book and is used for what function? An incident book is an essential tool for any business that serves alcohol, as it provides a record of a lot of events or incidents that related to the service of alcohol. It can ensure that a business is taking appropriate steps to prevent minors and intoxicated people from being on the premises, as well as to manage any incident of antisocial behavior. So here are the examples of the incident reporting book. If there is an incident that results in a complaint or legal actions, the incident book can be used to provide a detailed record of the events leading up to the incidents, as well as the action taken by the staff to manage the situation. So, when recording an incident in the incident book, the staff are required to include the following information, for example, time and date of incidents. In short, an incident book should be recorded accurately and also ensure that the incident book is kept securely and is accessible only to authorized persons. The above is the content of our speech about responsible alcohol service. Thank you for listening.